Start the recording, switch screens. All right, welcome back, guys. This is our 41st session of Ophion. We've been at this for quite a while at this point. Just a few quick announcements before we get into things. First being is that we will be skipping next week, the 22nd, because that is pretty close to, Christmas, and I don't really want to play planning around Christmas. So we're skipping the 22nd. If all goes well, we'll be back on the 29th, and then normally from there. Other announcement is that if you are looking for a new mission compendium in the future, I've begun work on the Hurricane mission compendium. That seems to be the front runner on the polls I've put up, so look forward to that soon. And just a reminder that if you want a mission compendium in general, I did put out the Pandora's Box mission compendium. It's good work. I've heard a lot of good positive feedback about it so far. So pick it up, run it for your game, and let me know how it goes. Other than that, I think we're ready to start. So, Captain, if you would care to read your log.
Indeed. Captain's log, stardate 57002.7. The Ophion is fully repaired and has just departed Starbase 621, en route to Vulcan in an attempt to help Commander Pinek with his condition. Sometimes the best way to help a Vulcan is with other Vulcans. The monastic traditions may be the only thing that can help him at this point. While they are very secretive in their ways, Prier and Murthrin have heard of a ritual called the Kolinar. It will apparently purge Pinek of all emotion, but may take some time. The other problem is that there is no way this dark Pinek will agree to this, and I highly doubt the Vulcans will accept a heavily sedated Pinek. Before I cross that bridge, though, I must first address one of my least liked duties: officer discipline. End log.
All right, and as requested, we are going to cut to the ready room, where Drake and the captain are about to have what I'm assuming is a very heated conversation.
Lieutenant Drake, I take it your time as community service on Bucket Station was productive?
Yes, Captain.
Good. But don't think that your responsibility to that station has saved you from me. Have a seat.
Drake will continue to stand at, stiff attention.
I'll lean back in my chair. Fine. Lieutenant Drake, you have had a very colorful career within Starfleet. You have served You've served with the Marines along the Cardassian demilitarized zone, getting in scuffles with everything from rogue Klingons to Cardassians to the Maquis. And your tactical expertise is not in question. You have glowing marks from from Captain Lowton, and from the intermediate commander. From Captain Lowton. However, there is, of course, the amount of altercations you seem to get into. Tell me, why is it that you seem to like being a vigilante?
I wouldn't classify myself as a vigilante, sir. I would classify myself as someone who doesn't like people being wronged or shorted what they're owed.
And you somehow believe that it falls on your shoulders to take up the responsibility for those that are wronged, despite the fact that you serve on a crew or in a squad of heavily capable individuals within an organization that has strict laws and procedures for dealing with all these things. Why are you so special?
Because sometimes the little guy needs to be helped.
And you're perfectly fine with the taking on that shouldering that responsibility and all the consequences that come with it?
Well, not barring the captain's the captain's sight, but I'm sure you can tell I have very broad shoulders.
Yes. However, let's see. From there, beating up You started a massive altercation within his eating establishments in 2374. You decided to. You were Lieutenant Junior grade, and then you got busted back down for stealing from the quartermaster, because apparently he owed your squad something and had not delivered it. And then Siege of AR 558 happened, which you have absolutely glowing remarks from, I must say. Commander Sloan here has said that you would have his back and he would have yours for the rest of your career should he decide to serve with you again.
On that, Drake arches an eyebrow.
I don't pay any attention to that. So, and then there is the Reliant, where you were Chief of Security for roughly 8 months before you decided to not only break the duties of that rank, you decided to almost break someone in half because he was abusing his spouse. Now, I hate a wife beater as much as anyone, but because of those actions, he was able to get off with a far lighter sentence than he would have had you decided to follow protocol. He's actually still in Starfleet. He's now working a desk job thanks to you, but he's still in Starfleet.
Begging the captain's pardon, but I accomplished the goal that I set out for, and he'll never raise his hand to another person again.
Yes. Which brings us to this. Tell me, Lieutenant, why did you decide to strike the Zinkethi?
I'd like to say I was just following orders, but I wasn't.
We both know that.
But I also know that the Zinkethi can be quite cruel with anybody in their captive. And there was no way I was going to let not only my senior officer of myself, but a crewmate and a teammate go in there by themselves. And being on the outside of the cell wasn't going to give me what I needed.
And so you would have rather been inside a cell where you could have potentially just been as helpless as another person inside the cell.
Oh, I was definitely not helpless inside the cell.
Right. So let me tell you of the repercussions of that single action, Mr. Drake. Because of you deciding to take it upon yourself to use your, let's just say, a creative interpretation of the captain's orders, you were not present during the investigation to protect the other members of the crew that were attempting to track down this murderer. Lieutenant Commander Shatsu had to be reassigned from her position as Beta Shift Command Officer to take up that mantle. Thankfully, despite a couple very close firefights and a bunch of others in Kathy who were not as lenient with Starfleet security measures, they were thankfully okay. However, that action also looked bad on Shatsu, who recommended you for this position. I questioned her on your fitness for taking the command, but Shatsu swore up and down that you had developed great character and was over your, I believe the term I used was martyr complex. So, not only did your actions look bad on her, I had to stand an hour-long beratement from an admiral who, by the way, is proof that alcoholism and anger issues is not barring an individual from Starfleet Admiralty. So your one action not only looked bad on me, it looked bad on the ship, it looked bad on the crew. And do you know what thanks we got for solving the mission of the Thought Stone? A written message from the Admiral saying, "At least you unfucked what you fucked up." Then he kicked us to our ship, made sure we were repaired and on our way. I will not have this sort of behavior on my bridge, Lieutenant. If you wish to take it on yourself to deal with the little guys, you have my support. I will fight for the little guys too. But there's ways to do this without throwing a match into a tinderbox. Now, if this station does not suit your attitude, I am more than happy to accept a transfer to another squad of Marines, or perhaps one of the ships that are now patrolling the Klingon or demilitarized Cardassian zones.
To be honest, Captain, I think I'm right where I'm needed.
Very well. Then I need to be ensured that you will keep the best interests of this crew and her mission at heart. So, for the next week, if you are not on duty, you are confined to quarters. I am also requiring you to pass the command course, Diplomacy 101. It will be taught by it will be taught by Lieutenant Commander Jisa, who is wishing to become an instructor at the Academy one day. I expect you to receive at least 75% on the passing mark. And you have 2 months to complete the assignment.
Yes, Captain.
And should your temper or martyr complex kick in again, I will drop you off at the next starbase with transfer orders to somewhere else. Dismissed.
Yes, Captain. Permission to speak?
Make it quick.
Commander Pinek's assessment of me is not wholeheartedly correct. I'm not a mindless thug. I might be a thug. I might like beating people up. But I will say this. Remember, I'm your thug. And everything I do, it's not mindless. There's a reason behind it.
Yes.
Thanks for hearing me out. And Drake will walk out.
At that point, I'm going to tap on the computer and ask Mr. Locke to try to patch me into the Starfleet or the Federation Embassy on Vulcan. And at which point we can move on to the next scene.
All right. So the next scene is actually, you segued into it perfectly fine. You are unable to get in contact with the Vulcan Embassy, and you are answered by... Where is his name? You are answered by a Vulcan male. He has pretty much the standard Vulcan bowl cut, and seems to be, I would say, middle age, even for a Vulcan. So, he looks pretty much like every other Vulcan. I hate the stereotype, but you know what they look like. And he says, "I am Ambassador Talk. How may I be of assistance, Captain?"
Ambassador Talk, I am Captain Barton Skull of the USS Ophion. Now, before I proceed, is he wearing Starfleet uniform, or is he a Vulcan?
He is definitely wearing Vulcan colors. He is not Starfleet.
Very well. I am bringing the Ophion to Vulcan. My first officer, Lieutenant Commander Pinek, is undergoing some mental trauma, which we are ill-equipped to adequately handle. I will have my chief medical officer send you the details, and I am hoping that the Vulcan medical institutes can be of assistance.
Very well, Captain. I will be on the lookout for this transmission. Is there any need for us to begin preparing such measures now?
I'm unsure of what the Vulcan medical term would be, but he has developed a second, more violent personality, which, for the time being, has risen to prominence, I should say.
And you can see that Talk gets a little bit more stiff, a little bit more reserved, and he very briefly says, "I am aware of this phenomenon. It has happened in the past, and we do have a treatment for it."
This pleases me. Might I inquire the length of time needed to perform the treatment?
That is dependent on the patient, Captain.
Very well. And in what condition do you require the patient? He is currently conscious, but I have a suspicion that this version of Pinek will not willingly accept whatever treatment you wish him.
So you say he is conscious then.
Yes, he is.
And there's a moment where Talk looks like he's debating something in his head, which is even hard to tell on a Vulcan face, but you still catch it. And eventually he comes back and says, "There are two options ahead of us, Captain. Either we perform a mind meld with someone more stable, and in the process risking that other individual, but it would hopefully give this Commander Pinek of yours the control he needs to come under his own power, or if you sedate him, we can take things from there."
I understand. We should be arriving to Vulcan within the next 4 or 5 days, and I will have my chief medical officer liaise with you, and as we get closer, we shall decide on the fate.
Very good. Is there anything else, Captain?
No, and I thank you for your timely assistance, and I'll try my best to make the Vulcan hand signal, but I'm obviously not well versed at it, so I try to make the live long and prosper gesture, but it sort of fails.
Well, he still returns it and says, "Peace and long life."
Live long and prosper.
And the transmission cuts. So, up next, we're just going to kind of do a quick tour of everybody, see what everybody's up to. Let's start with Locke. Locke, what are you up to these days?
I imagine just more tinkering. I don't know if we ever figured out exactly what was going on with the one colony that was coerced into the Federation.
Yeah, you haven't gotten anything new about that, but you are approaching Sector 001, so if you wanted to go anywhere in particular, just let me know and we can deal with that.
I think you'd just be trying to go through all...
exactly, but
Sorry, was it?
yeah, I forget where exactly Memory Alpha is. But
Yeah, it's
Memory
somewhere in,
Alpha is not in Sector 001, I think.
It's pretty close, though.
Yeah.
I imagine he'd just be going through, he'd be trying to find out about the Nezkov, which is stronger in the Federation, but that's in like the Shackle Expanse, but just pulling up all the information on that system to figure out why. You know, strategic, was it resources, was it really nice beaches, and just trying to figure that out, and just kind of going through the big list of possibilities. We can figure out what Sloan wants. Figure out the why.
Okay. Let's do this. Why don't we have you roll a... let's call this control and... I guess science or con, so probably science for you. And the Ophion is going to assist with computers and... let's say... science as well.
It is the most boring montage ever. There's like the Rocky theme, dun, 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 as he's just picking up pads and scrolling.
computers and science, was it?
Yep, computers and science from the ship, and this is going to be at a difficulty of 3.
Should have my data analysis focus.
Oh, all right. So, Locke, other than the information you already know about the Nezkov, there's not a whole lot you're getting on them. Obviously, you're getting some data from the Federation's, keyword there, Federation's, not Starfleet, the Federation database about their culture and things about their planet, but you're not seeing anything that might lead you to why they were, quote-unquote, strong-armed into joining.
None of this makes any sense. I mean, there's minor dilithium deposits, but nothing out of the normal, and there's other planets that weren't, that have more. There's ores. Culture isn't particularly remarkable. Their art is pedestrian at best, and their music is best described as nails on chalkboards. None of this. Computer, another triple Ractigino.
All right. The replicator spits out your Ractigino, as ordered.
continue to drink and pour over pads and just be like, I think I need to come at this in another angle. That's probably all for me right now.
Okay. And we'll revisit because, I figured being in Sector 001, there are those among you that are going to want to go to Earth. There are those among you who might want to go to Vulcan. So we'll just rotate through and we'll have a nice chill session. But next, let's do Mirthrin. Mirthrin, what are you up to?
Mithrin's checking to see if his parents are on Vulcan currently.
They are. I don't know if I have your parents' names, though.
Not to worry, I've got them sitting in the background bio on Mithrin's sheet. They are Sovak and Tavol.
Let's see. I do see Sarvek. I don't see them. Oh, there they are. I found them. Okay. All right, yeah. Sovak and Taval are both on Vulcan at the moment, yes.
So, assuming you can actually get through to them, Mithrin will sort of calm through to them.
Yeah, sure. So we'll say that it's actually Sovak that answers, which is a little bit odd. Usually he's sort of... Let's see, did you give them an occupation?
Yes, they're the diplomatic liaisons to Beta Z.
Right, but I don't think you focus any more than that.
Yeah, essentially they're just diplomats.
Right, okay. So usually Sovak is tied up in some sort of diplomacy or politics or something of that nature. But he does answer, and when he comes on the screen and he sees you, he says, hello, son. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. Back in Sector 001 again, finally.
And he sort of raises an eyebrow and says, back so soon. I was not expecting you to be back this way in several years.
Yes, well, the Ophion's it's been through a few rough scrapes recently, and it's in need of a few repairs and refurbishments. Love to tell you and Mother about it over tea, perhaps. If you've got a spare afternoon.
Tea would be acceptable. When are you arriving in system?
We should be arriving in approximately, is it 2 or 3 days?
Yeah, something like that.
We should be arriving in 2 or 3 days on other business. I'm intending to ask the captain for a few days' leave.
Very good. Please transmit your... Oh, God, what is it? Your timeline or that itinerary. That's the word I want. Please transmit your itinerary when you have it. I look forward to seeing you again.
Likewise. And he sort of goes to handle all that and put in a request for a shuttle.
Alrighty. So, up next, we have Drake. Drake, what are you up to after you're dressing down and what I'm assuming is whatever you're doing in your quarters, since you're kind of under lock and key at the moment? Excuse me.
Well, I had sent you a message, but I would like to ask Shatsu to come to my quarters.
Okay, sure. Shatsu will show up outside your quarters, or at least you hear a chime, and when you tell him to come in steps Shatsu. And she just kind of looks around the place and says, yes, Lieutenant, what can I do for you?
And Drake will stand up and straighten his, straighten whatever clothes he's wearing nervously. But I want to apologize.
I imagine I know what's for, but I'd rather hear it from the proverbial horse's mouth.
I've been told I look like a horse. I'm sorry I made you look bad.
Well, even though I don't really know what goes on in the captain's ready room, enough of it creeped out onto the bridge that I get an idea that you've already been told that it wasn't just me and yourself. It was quite a lot of people on this ship.
Well, as you're the person who spoke up for me to get me on this posting, I feel that I owe you the biggest apology.
Well, really, the best apology you can give me at this point is don't do this shit again.
Well, I was, I know I'm confined to quarters, but I was going to see if you wanted to, I don't know, spar doesn't seem like the right word. I used to have a CO that I really liked working for. And when we would mess up to the magnitude that I just did, we would, well, we'd fight. Except we wouldn't exactly fight back.
Kind of tilts her head to the side and says, I'm not sure I follow.
Like this would be probably the most open. Drake, his normally stoic face, like his token would look. But what I'm basically saying is being I trust you and you're my CO, and he'll kind of look to the floor. All right, well, there's no other way of saying this. I want you to beat the crap out of me.
Chatsu starts a little bit and kind of not winces, but does that little head shake that, she's a little bit taken aback. And she says, I don't really think that's according to regs, Lieutenant. As much as you probably deserve it, I don't really see the value in beating up a perfectly good officer. And there's no way the captain would go for such a thing.
Well, I respect the captain, and I would have offered it to him. But seeing as how you're probably the only person on this ship that could actually beat the crap out of me, maybe.
I'm going to pretend that I didn't hear that so that I don't have to tell the captain that later. But
you can absolutely tell the captain, and I will teach him hand-to-hand combat in the best way I know how. And he just kind of smirks for just a half a second. And then, well, seeing as how I'm on restricted duty and I'm confined to quarters, which means I'm under disciplinary action. If I am not at my post, I do not have a rank. Therefore, technically, if you're in my quarters, neither do you. By Starfleet regulations. So
she cuts you off there by cracking her knuckles and without warning rushes forward and tries to punch you in the gut.
And
I'm just going to roll for shits and giggles, but let's see
what
happens.
I was going to say Drake pretty much lets her do it.
All right. Well, this is also good momentum for you guys. So let's see. D20 does have a focus. All right. So that's 2 momentum for you guys. And the good news is she only has a 4? Huh. All right, I thought she had higher than that. Yeah, that's wrong. She definitely has higher than that. She has a 6. All right, so let's roll these 6 challenge die. Just, again, because I find it funny. So you don't have any resistance. So what happens when she comes up and delivers a punch to your gut, you go down instantly, clutching your stomach, and the wind is just knocked out of you, and you crumple onto the floor immediately. And Shatsu kind of straightens back up, fixes her uniform, and says, now do you understand why that's a bad idea?
He will, out of breath, pull himself back up to his feet. Nope. That's exactly why this is a good idea. And he will just kind of like lock eyes with her, well, looking down, and just kind of like make the motion with one of his hands of like, just keep it coming.
So instead of punching you this time, she just sort of shakes her head and says, I'm not going to indulge your, I guess the proper term would be masochism in this context. If you want someone to beat you up and doing it right, you're going to have to find someone else. I was hoping that singular punch would have knocked some sense into you, but apparently not. So, Lieutenant, unless there's anything else, I will be leaving.
Well, thank you, Commander.
Indeed. And unless you stop her, she turns and leaves. All right. So that's Drake. Pinek, I know you're kind of
am I back in
confined to
voice chat?
quarters at this point, but I would like to sort of get some insight into what you're doing at the moment, what you're thinking.
I'm thinking, what's the routine here while I'm in my room? Like, I guess I have a replicator in there, so people don't need to bring me food.
Right. So your replicator works. It's sort of the I'm trying to remember the episode, the one where Tuvok does the mind meld with the psychotic guy, and he goes crazy for a little bit. So you're in your quarters. There's security members outdoor, two of them on either side of the door, and your command codes don't work. So you can do basic ship tasks, like you can work a replicator, you can use limited ship's comms, but you can't say start the self-destruct sequence or beam yourself out of your room, things of that nature.
I would like to bang on the door and tell them I require immediate assistance.
Okay, so you hear the hum of a force field activating on the other side of the door, and the door opens, and you see one of the security personnel looking inside and says, "Yes, Commander, what do you need?"
The replicator in my room is malfunctioning.
Kind of looks over at it, and unless you've literally torn it out of the wall or torn out wires, he says, "It looks fine to me."
It will not produce food. Try it.
He looks at his fellow and says, "Very well. I'll go in, seal the door behind me." And he takes out his hand phaser, motions at you, and says, "If you would step back, please, Commander."
I kind of just scowl at him and then stand back.
All right. So they lower the force field, and the gentleman steps in, and there's maybe about a 3-second window where you could do something.
I'd like to nerve pinch him.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your your daring and security. Actually, no. You can use daring science because, well, do you have the nerve pinch talent?
I do.
Yeah, then you can use daring science. So whichever one's really better for you, I suppose.
Oh, it's daring and what?
Should be either daring security or daring science, if I remember nerve pinch properly.
I'm gonna do security.
Okay. And I'll just roll here for the security officer. He has 1 success, so you need to roll.
So 2d20.
Yep, 2d20.
Do I have any focuses? Inspiration, composure, philosophy. I don't
Yeah,
think there's
unless you have like hand-to-hand combat, I don't think you have a focus.
God
Okay.
damn it.
So, Pinek, you start to move forward to try and nerve pinch him, and the security guard saw this coming. He doesn't quite stun you with his phaser, but he still delivers a glancing blow across your cheek so that you're stumbling backwards and you're a little bit dazed, but you're not any worse for the wear. And before you get your bearings again, you see that he's returned to the other side of the force field, and he is tapping his comm badge, and he says, "This is, we'll say, let's give this guy a name, just in case we need a name for him. This is Ensign Otis to Captain Skull."
Skull here, go ahead.
As per your orders, sir, you wanted to know if Pinek tried anything, and he just did. He's still contained, but he definitely just tried to nerve pinch me.
I see. Very well. Requisition a third guard for his door. I will be down shortly.
Very good, sir. I tell you what, let's actually go to the senior quarters for this one. All right, let's get these tokens off here, and yeah, Captain, you can arrive whenever you wish.
All right. It's a notice, Quakenbush. Thank you.
So, as you move inside, Murthrin, why don't you play Quakenbush for a little bit? And remember, the orders thus far are to sort of seal the door and prevent Pinek from getting out.
Mm-hmm. I'll motion the doors be open and then close them and seal them once we get in.
Okay. And as you start to move in, Quakenbush actually comes with you.
That would be a wise idea.
And let me find, where is he? There he is. Oh God, he's tiny. All right,
Or the
there's
Vulcan is
Quakenbush and their skull. So again, Pinek, there is an open window of about 2 to 3 seconds as they both step in if you wanted to do anything.
I'm very tempted to try it again. Okay, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try to nerve pinch Quakenbush.
Okay, you may certainly try and nerf pinch Quakenbush.
Yeah, 'cause even though they are expecting it, you are a Vulcan.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Quakenbush, you're going to be rolling a daring and security as well, and you need to roll 3 successes here, or you're getting nerf pinched.
Can I assist?
I would say yes. You would also be rolling a daring and security.
Very well.
Check if he has any talents that help against getting jumped. I don't think he does. But...
now that you mention it, we do need to do a little bit of maintenance on Quakenbush, I think. Oh, no, he's already statted fully. Okay.
Yeah. I had
him as he might have hand-to-hand. I'd give him hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, he's got that as a focus. Oh, plus he's got tough for avoiding injuries.
All right. Well, there's 1 success from the captain. So all you need is 2 successes here, and you avoid getting nerf pinched.
Well, it'll be interesting either way, so I'll just risk it with 2.
Okay.
Oh, not quite enough.
So, Pinek, if you could roll your nerf pinch damage, please.
What is how many challenge dice is that?
What is your science score at the moment?
2. But I used the security to roll it.
Well, that's what I'm asking, because with nerf pinch, you can also substitute security for science for your damage as well. But you don't have to.
I'd rather just use security. It's higher.
Okay, in that case, it's just going to be 5 challenge die. Okay. So, Quakenbush, unless you spend momentum to avoid the injury, or you blow a determination, you are going to be nerve pinched to unconsciousness.
Right.
Darn red shirts.
I'm going to pull my phaser and immediately attempt to stun Pinek.
Okay. So, that's going to be a control and security from you, Captain.
All right.
Difficulty 2.
Security. I'm going to spend 1 point of momentum.
Okay.
I don't really have anything on that. No good focuses. Oh!
Yeah, I think you got him, Captain. So that brings you up to 4 momentum, I believe.
Yes. Nice. Every now and then I'm okay.
Yeah. So you have a type 2, so I believe you're rolling 5 challenge die.
That sounds accurate. So my security is 2 and type that is 3, so...
All zeros.
I mean, it's always a possibility.
Mm-hmm. So you can
2.
spend momentum to re-roll those 3 zeros.
That sounds like a good thing to spend a point of momentum on.
All right.
All right, and then that's 3 challenge dice again.
All right. Well, now you have the option. The only way to mess with this roll further is you can spend 1 momentum for 1 additional damage.
Okay, and back.
Hey,
no, I think that's sufficient.
Okay.
Making my point.
All right. So, Quakenbush, I need to know very importantly.
Yes?
You are taking 6 stress damage, and I need to know whether you're spending momentum or determination to stay up, or if you're going to go down.
Yeah, you spend momentum to avoid an injury, right?
Correct. It would be 2 momentum.
Yes, except it would be 1 because I have tough as a talent.
Hey, even better.
Yeah, so I'll spend a momentum to do an avoid an injury.
Okay. So, in that case, take your 6 stress of damage, which I believe puts you at 13 overall.
Mhm.
And Pinek, you're going to be taking 3. So to narratively describe what's happening here, Pinek, you lunge forward and you get a good pinch on Quakenbush, but he shrugs it off.
He starts to go down, but then he just sort of just grits his teeth and stays conscious because he's that much of a badass.
Exactly. And Captain, at the same time, you pull out your phaser and you get a glancing blow on Pinek. You fired a little bit too early, but you still did some, superficial damage. But he is still up, and I guess at this point, I need to actually put you guys in initiative order.
What's the intense modifier on my nerve pinch ring? It has 1 intense.
Oh, you know what? Intense could make it so Quakenbush has to spend 2 momentum after all. Let's check. Anytime you want to work, PDF. Thank you. All right, let's see. Intense. Yes. So how many effects did you roll? You rolled 2 effects. So yeah, you would actually need to spend the 2 momentum that you currently have, Quakenbush, or your determination to stay up.
All right, 2 momentum it is then.
All right, so we're at a flat 0 for everybody. All right. So now that we are in initiative order, I need to know who has the highest daring.
Probably me.
I've got 7 daring.
Daring 12.
Okay, so
Yep.
Quakenbush is at 12. What are you at, Skull?
8.
8.
Wow, everybody's got better daring than me.
Well, the good news is they are on the same side, so they can't go back to back. But it is going to be Quakenbush's turn first. So Quakenbush, you have just shrugged off a nerve pinch, and Pinek is being violent.
Yep. So he's gonna do what he does best, and he's gonna just come in with a right hook.
Okay. So you're rolling daring security at a difficulty 1. Pinek, you're doing the same. And whoever has the most successes or the most momentum generated will be the victor.
That's 2 successes for me.
Ooh.
All right.
All right.
I roll another d20?
Yeah, you still roll another one.
I keep messing that up, sorry.
That's okay. All right. So I'm going to give you a choice of complications here, Pinek. You can either let him do 2 additional challenge dice worth of damage.
Which you probably don't want to do because I have mean right hook, so my unarmed strikes have vicious.
Right. Or, regardless of what he rolls, you will be knocked down.
What am I rolling? Sorry.
No, this is a choice. Whether you want him to have extra challenge dice on his damage, or if you want to be knocked down regardless of what he rolls.
I'll get knocked down.
Okay, so Quakenbush, go ahead and roll your damage.
Alrighty. So that'll be 1 plus security, so a total of 6 challenge dice.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Pinek, you're going to be taking 7 stress worth of damage. And I offer the same sort of thing to you. You can give me 2 threat to stay up. You can spend a determination to stay up, but you're still taking the 7 stress either way.
I'll give you threat.
All right,
Yeah,
so he's still
I'm
up.
just trying to remember what vicious does in here somewhere.
Oh, it's 8 actually, yes. So it's 8 stress worth of damage.
Where is it? Where is it? Conflict. There we go. 169.
All right, so Pinek, Quakenbush, why don't you describe your attack?
It's basically he just comes in with a very classic Kirk-esque right hand uppercut to the jaw to sort of sends Pinek sprawling against the other side of the cabin.
Okay. So Pinek, you are knocked, we'll say, into this couch thing here, and it is your turn.
Yep. And Quakenbush sort of just immediately moves in front of the captain, combat ready.
Okay. All right, so Pinek, it is your turn. It is a minor action to stand, I believe.
Alright, I'd like to stand and then toss this table at both of them.
Ooh, okay. Let's say that would be a daring. Yeah, let's keep it a daring and security.
Not fitness.
Uh, sure, I will give you fitness security. But the difficulty will be let's say a 3.
Uh, can I use a value to give me an extra dice?
You can use your value for 2 auto successes if that's what you mean.
Yeah, loss can motivate.
Oh, well, this is a very good time to use that. So sure, you start off with 2 successes. Oh, unfortunately, you needed you need 3, unfortunately, and you don't have determination, so you can't re-roll that. So narratively, what happens is Pinek stands up, he grips the table and flings it towards the captain and Quakenbush. But either the table is just too large or it's thrown too slowly because as it shatters against the wall where the captain just was, but nobody is harmed as glass sort of coats the floor in the immediate area. And then, Captain Skull, it's your turn.
Ooh, as much as I've liked to have shot Pinek for all the years of hardness of Starfleet orders and regulations he's given me. But I'm not going to get this chance again, am I? Yeah, I'm going to stun him, or at least try to.
All right, you know what to do. Control security, difficulty 2.
Control security. I really wish one of my pasts could be used for this. Well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not many people have experience fighting a crazed Vulcan.
Yeah, it's something that not most people even see. All right, Captain, unless you want to spend your determination to reroll, we'll say that you just can't line up a shot on Pinek. He's being a little bit too wily.
No, I will not. Not yet.
Okay. So, in that case, it's a brand new round, and that means, Pinek, you go first.
I'd like to dive at the captain and try to wrestle his phaser out of his hand.
Okay. So, there are rules for grappling. I think you still roll a daring security, just like a melee check. But in order, there's a few ways we can do it. So let me just pull up those rules so I can tell you. Okay. Option 1 is you grapple, and that means you grab the opponent, and means that the only action they can take is trying to break free, or they can attack you specifically. Or you can spend, 2 momentum to disarm him after a successful attack.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
So you either have the option of grappling him, which would do no damage, but would make it so that the captain either has to break free or has to attack you, or after you successfully make an attack, you can spend 2 momentum, or in your case, 2 threat, to disarm him.
I'll go for the disarm.
Okay, well, first we need to see a successful melee attack. So you're rolling a daring and security. Captain, you're also rolling a daring and security, and the difficulty is a 1.
What is with these rolls?
Well, Captain gets a complication.
He somehow got worse.
Yeah, so you don't connect Pinek. I mean, obviously you're now up in the captain's business, but you do not connect at all. And the complication is, Captain, that even though he didn't really get a good hold of you or knock away your hands, you still lose the phaser, and it clatters to the floor.
Okay. Is Pinek currently wearing his comm badge?
That is up to Pinek.
Wait, what did he ask? I was coughing. What did he ask?
Are you wearing your comm badge?
I don't know. I mean, would you have left me with one?
Probably.
I guess I am.
Okay. Computers, initiate site-to-site transport. Beam Commander Pinek straight to the brig.
Okay. So let's say Mirthrin, let's have you do the transport roll here.
Okay, doke.
I believe that is a control and engineering, but let's double check.
Right.
Yes, so that's going to be a control engineering from you.
Mhm.
And if someone can get the ship's sensors in engineering, and this will be at a difficulty of 3 because Pinek is not on a transporter pad, and because the destination is not a transporter pad.
Alrighty. This probably will not go well.
That was ship's sensors and engineering.
Correct?
Oh, I'll do
That's
that one.
one from Mirthrin, so the ship needs to hit a crit.
Yeah, the ship needs to hit a crit? No.
Nope.
So, Captain, for your turn, you slap his badge and slap your badge and tell the computer to beam away, and Mirthrin does his best, but unfortunately, he's not able to get a lock on Pinek for some reason.
Yeah, like not when they're that close in melee.
Mm-hmm.
I just quickly look at Pinek and go, well, was worth a shot.
All right. And then we come to Quakenbush.
Right. And Quakenbush is like, I've always respected you as a commander, Pinek, but you leave me no choice. And he's going to come in and just try to knock him out.
Okay. So daring and security from you, Pinek, daring and security from you, and still at a difficulty of 1.
Ooh.
Wow.
Nice.
So Pinek, you need a double crit here. Unfortunately,
These
you
rolls
do
are not going my way.
All right, so I believe that gives 2 momentum, and yeah, go ahead and roll your unarmed strike damage there, Quakenbush.
Yep. I'm just trying to remember what combat momentum spends do, see if I can use that momentum to do anything.
I think we've got a handout for that. We do have a
Yep.
handout for that.
Just looking at it. Reroll damage. I'll hold on to the momentum in case I roll low on the damage.
Okay.
Alright, so challenge dice of 6.
All right, well, you got the 5
that's
you
good.
needed. So Pinek, at this point, as Quakenbush attacks
Well,
you
actually,
again,
it's 6 because of vicious. Oh no, it's not because I didn't roll any effects.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no effects. So Pinek, as Quakenbush strikes you again, you start to lose consciousness, and at this point, it's 2 injuries because you're over your stress limit, and it's 5 damage at once. So Pinek, I'm gonna say you get maybe 10 or so words. I'm not gonna actually count them. Just don't go on a monologue before you go completely unconscious.
I look at the captain and I say to him, I hope you know you're killing me by doing this. Moralize that, Federation dog.
All right.
As he slumps unconscious, I'll pick the phaser up, holster it, and go, maybe, but I'm saving my friend in the process. I'm going to look at Quakenbush, nod thanks, and
I'll back.
Ensign Quakenbush, please take Commander Pinek to the brig and have an alert Prior to have a look-see at him.
Will do, sir. Always wanted to say I could beat a Vulcan in a fist fight.
Yeah, it only took a captain with a phaser to help you out. But I won't tell anybody that part.
Right you are, Captain. And he'll, pick up Pinek and just start fireman carrying him out the door.
Alrighty. So
I'm going to spend a bit of time just looking through, casually going through Pinek's room. I don't want to overlook, or I don't want to go through his private things, but I just want to see if he has done anything overtly evil, like, say, write, die, scald, die in blood, or something on the walls, or...
I mean, that's up to Pinek.
Not so cliche. There's nothing really there. I mean, you can see evidence of him trying to force the door open or modify a terminal to get out, stuff like that. Just stuff to get away.
All right. No, satisfied. I'll head to the door and make the comment that even a milk run to Vulcan is exciting on this ship. And then I'll head back to the bridge.
Alrighty. So, we actually are going to cut to the bridge at this point. Actually, not that map. This map. As you arrive in orbit of Vulcan. And Sona does a bit of crosstalk with the traffic controller and says, Captain, we are cleared for a polar orbit at your command.
Take us in, please.
All right. So you descend not into the atmosphere, but closer to the planet and enter orbit. And it is at this point that I'm going to let you decide what to do with that.
Well, I was going to give Pinek a choice of whether of the mind meld or going in unconscious and hoping that the Vulcans make the best call. But Pinek kind of forced my hand when he decided to assault me with a glass table.
I mean, as one does with a glass table.
Yeah, I know, right? So I'm basically going to order him sedated and carried down to Vulcan. Probably transported down.
Okay. So there's two ways we can handle this. Option one is that Ambassador Talk would send Vulcans to carry Pinek around, or you could have your own crew do it. It's entirely up to you.
I think, given Skull's mentality about crew equals family, I think we would carry Pinek down to the surface, and then once he's on the surface, then it would be the Vulcan's show.
Okay. So who would be beaming down with him then is the question.
I'd have Drake with me. I'm going to say that his shut-in time is over.
Okay.
So Drake's with me, and then probably Quakenbush and Prier.
Okay.
And whoever else wants to come down to Vulcan, I suppose.
I think Mithrin at this point would have already asked permission to take one of the shuttles out of the bay and go out on his own. Yeah.
All right. So, the main away party, as you head down, you beam into the classical Vulcan monastery. For those who aren't familiar with such a thing, it's basically a temple in the middle of a desert, as most things on Vulcan are. It's a sort of arid desert planet. And there's sort of dusty wind blowing, but otherwise you are inside the temple, so you just kind of look out and hear the wind. But waiting for you are what appear to be 3 monks. And one of them comes up to you, bows his head slightly, and says, I am Skit. I believe this is your commander you wished us to handle, yes?
Hello, Skit. I am Skull. And I couldn't resist that. But yes, this is Commander Pinek. Please do what you can for him.
He nods, and he sort of, over his shoulder, just sort of motions for his fellows to come forward, and they take Pinek from the fireman carry, or at least how I was imagining it, from Quakenbush and Drake, and they lead him, well, I guess carry him deeper into the temple. And Skit says, as with all patients, it is not exactly known how long this process will take. Are you going to be in system for a while, Captain?
The Ophion currently has no orders to go elsewhere, so I will stay as long as I am able.
Very good. We will contact you as soon as we have made any progress.
I make some sort of small bow and say, I thank you very much for looking after the well-being of one of my officers and friends.
Of course, it's only logical.
And at that, I'll take a quick snapshot of the monastery with my holo camera, and then I'm good to beam back up unless anyone else wants to do anything. All right.
Yeah.
I'd like to be set free, please.
I don't think you can.
If I was Beckett, I would say we got to take a selfie of them carrying with them carrying Pinek away behind us.
Oh, you'd better believe Skull is going to be typing something up to Beckett. Dear Beckett, OMG, you would not believe the day we've had. No, not like that. Nope, it would be a artistic shot because the captain really needs to get back to painting.
Okay. All right. So we actually come to sort of the open-ended part of the session. I didn't want to plan a major mission or anything because I know we had people that wanted to visit family on the surface of Vulcan. Obviously, Pinek is now going to be playing a supporting character for a while. So really, this is an opportunity for you guys to sort of tread your own path and decide what you want to do with your time. And if you can't think of literally anything, I do have a backup, but I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to do whatever you wanted while you were in Sector 001.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just open the floor. Does anyone have anything they'd like to go first?
Let me think.
I do.
Okay, sure.
And there's like no role playing involved really, but Drake will go to Earth, and he is going to see, I know, shocking, a family member, his grandfather, who's kind of older and senile, and give him and have a small chat with him, maybe a day, stay with him a day or so, of a replica that he made in his time being locked in his quarters of the pistol from Harlock's crew.
Ah, okay.
And have kind of a long, probably one-sided conversation, as you do with someone who's older and a little bit senile, of basically telling his grandfather a lot of stuff that if people heard, he would be in lots of trouble. But basically telling him that he's just like him, is a good soldier, follows his orders, tries not to get in too much trouble. We'll pause after saying that part. And then that he's doing the family proud.
All right.
And if anybody would like to follow me or track or whatever, I will be happy to divulge information from my background. But if you don't, you don't.
I think Zareed would like to go to the diplomatic corps on Earth, so she could ride along the same shuttle as a Drake.
Sure, let's make it happen.
So, is it true that you actually punched Zinkethi? Like, what do they feel like? Are they all squishy on the inside?
For the most part. It's kind of like, well, and he'll kind of like move his nose with audible clicks, like a nose that's been broken a lot. And it's kind of like a human's nose or ears. They're mostly just made of like flesh and a little bit of other bits behind it. And it kind of feels a little weird.
Ooh, yeah, interesting. I've only read a bit about them, and they didn't like it when I asked too many questions about their diplomatic hierarchy or their hierarchical nature.
Yeah, the only thing that the Zinkethi dislike more than being punched in the face is being asked a lot of questions.
I've noticed that. What else was I going to ask? Oh yeah, so you must have gotten in a lot of fights. Did you ever fight a Klingon?
Quite a few.
Let me tell. I've had to fight for the Klingons too. I went down to a Klingon mining guild that was not cooperating with their guild masters. It was a very, very dangerous union disagreement.
Well, I've met them in battle when they are not really hopped up on blood wine and are trying to kill me. I've fought alongside them and against them. I much prefer them to being at my side than being in front of me.
Agreed.
And I'll let a little bit out. While on the shuttle, because it's probably hot and packed full of people, where Zareed and Drake are sitting, Drake will roll up his sleeves a little bit, maybe to about a 3/4 sleeve just below the elbow, and there are tattoos going from just above the wrist and looks like all the way up. And scars too, but anyways, he goes back to what he was saying, and I much prefer Klingons next to me instead of in front of me. Cardassians, I don't know. I haven't met many that are good enough to stand next to me.
Upon seeing you roll up your sleeves, Zareed will unglove her bodysuit and roll her sleeves up too. And you can see that she's fully tattooed as well. Her tattoos are of a religious significance.
Trying to think what are on his arms. There are pictures of ships. There's also little pictures of, let's say, other civilizations like normal icons or symbols. Quite a few of them. No, go ahead.
Are those... I'm just gingerly going to touch one of them as if I'm trying to poke something very hot. Are those civilizations you've saved or civilizations you fought against?
In some cases, both.
I see. And she just sort of, for the first time in a very long while, the scrappy, ever-talkative Zareed sort of just sidles away and shuts up for a bit.
Drake will kind of look around, and I'm guessing the shuttle is packed with other people going to Earth from the Ophion.
I would say that you have enough shuttles on board, and you're in 001, so it can be just the two of you if you want.
Okay. Then if it's just the two of us, Drake will continue to roll his sleeve up a little bit more. And I'm judging too because it's been like a week or so since the captain ordered him to have to be taught by Zareed, right?
Zareed and Jisa, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, which one was it? Zareed or Jisa?
Jisa's the primary talker. Zareed just gives case studies.
Okay. Drake will open up a little bit. I know this is going to sound, well, I guess a word that's been used before is barbaric. Each tattoo that's on me is, well, each symbol, and he'll show off some symbols that are probably Cardassian, or some on his other arm that are Dominion. They are kind of struggles to say this, but he says they're confirmed kills.
I see. I must admit, it's not surprising. It doesn't surprise Zareed in the least that you've got them, or what they signify. And she'll roll up her sleeves. These tattoos represent the 5 major religions of my home system. They're not supposed to be tattooed on the body, but I took it upon myself to take art, mix it with my own personal beliefs, and she'll take off as much as is PG, as much as is G rated. And as I continue to explore and meet new species, I try to document a bit about them as well. I'm actually almost running out of room.
Drake will kind of chuckle, and he'll pull up the side of his uniform a little bit, showing off his abs or lack thereof, and his ribs. And there's more tattooing on him there too. Some of the symbols for the other civilizations will have like little halos on top of them, But I think I do the same as you, but for different reasons. Some of these are friends of mine from other races that I fought next to that have passed on, and this is kind of my way of honoring them.
So there's Zareed's eyebrows get, or Zareed gets a bit of a naughty expression on her face. Are we just going to start taking off our clothes and comparing tattoos, Lieutenant? Or would you prefer I call you by your first name in this situation?
Either's fine, or my last name. I answer all three. Just it's the varying levels of how they're yelled is whether I know I'm in trouble or not.
And on that, let's shift away.
There might be several yellings of names.
Yeah, so let's just shift away from that and pretend.
Oh God, I didn't even think about that.
Good job, Drake. Good job. Took you this long.
And the camera falls behind as the shuttle continues gliding through space.
Meanwhile, the pilot is just like, "Oh God, turn around! Don't turn around! Don't turn around!"
Oh God, I just phrasing myself.
Yep.
Oh, that was bad.
Zareed is the diplomatic officer. You really don't have. You could take her in a fist fight, but she could probably take you with words.
Yeah.
May just have.
So while Drake realizes the implications of what he's just done, let's cut to Mirthrin. So Mirthrin, is there anything in particular you'd like to discuss with your parents on screen, or is it just a casual visit?
A little bit, yeah. So he'll sort of turn up in the. He'll sort of. Yeah, he's decided he's earned it, so he'll pull rank slightly and requisition the Type 11 shuttle to go swing around. So may as well take out the fancy car.
All right.
And
Your Vulcan parents chastise you for such flagrants.
I'm sure they do, but Mirthrin is Betazoid, so he can tell they still care. And yeah, basically he's just gonna regale them with all the bits that he's allowed to talk about, and what the Ophion's been doing. Sort of ask how their work's been going, and hang on, mental block. What was I gonna do? One specific thing. Brain is full of cotton fuzz right now.
That's okay.
Oh, yes. So, at some point in the afternoon/evening, he'll sort of pause for a bit and sort of then put the coffee down and go, I could use a little advice.
And we'll say Taval, your mother, just kind of looks at you with a raised eyebrow and says, "About what?"
Unfortunately, I can't go into the details, security clearances and all that. But let's just say that in the course of my duties, I have found reason to believe that there are people within the hierarchy of Starfleet who are acting against its best interests. And while, of course, I want to do something about it, doing so has the potential to put both me and my crew in great danger.
So your parents kind of share almost a knowing look, and Taval continues to ask, "Is this something we might be of assistance with?"
Potentially. I'm limited, of course. There's not much I can do without getting you involved in things that you would get in trouble simply for knowing. But out of character, I'm trying to remember what it was. What are the things we're looking for? Where we want to find out about the whatchamacallit.
The Nezkov, I think, is what you're looking for.
We've already figured out that it was someone or other Sloan who sent the communiques stopping the Orion-controlled settlement from being rescued.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else we found? I feel like there was something else Captain Harlock mentioned.
I'm looking through my.
Or was
own
it
notes
just? Or was it
now.
just those two things?
I think it's just those two things.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay, so right, that's probably how we'll do it then.
Okay.
Well, I'm wanting to find some information on a particular species that entered the Federation recently, and Starfleet records, shall we say, a little vague on the subject.
And Sylvac just kind of picks up a pad and says, "What species?"
The Nezkov, they brought in the recent year. They're out in the Sabine Expanse. I was thinking that perhaps the Vulcan Science Institute might have some information that Starfleet didn't get their hands on.
One moment. And he uses his pad and uses his diplomatic clearance to pull up some information. And after a moment, he says, "Oh yes, the Nezkov. It seems that they were actually initially found by a Vulcan research vessel. And
Really?
they were noted for having a extreme amount of trilithium."
And Mithrin will sort of blink and say, "Sorry, trilithium, you said?"
That's what these records indicate, yes.
Strange, I don't remember seeing any mention of trilithium in the survey report.
And so
Anything
that just
else?
kind of holds the pad out to you, and you can verify it yourself if you so wish.
Yep, sort of looks at it. Interesting. Anything else interesting in the initial report?
Roll me a insight and I would say science here.
All right, insight science. And I think I've got a focus that would apply here. Xenobiology, alien technology, data pattern analysis.
Data pattern analysis would do it.
All right.
And
Insight plus
difficulty
science.
here would be a 2.
I've got some momentum. I'll spend 1 for a third die.
All right.
3 successes.
Nice. So that gives you a momentum. You're going to notice something very important, Murthrin. The admiral that was pushing to get these the Nezkov into the Federation as fast as possible was actually Admiral Sloan, which you don't know about, but out of character.
Yeah. So and once he sees their name, he'll sort of like stiffen slightly and sort of frown. Hold on, not that slow, surely. And he'll sort of like check the links to just double check that yes, it is.
So yeah, you approach this from the Vulcan side, and you indeed see that it is a admiral, a real life admiral, or at least that's what the records indicate. He looks nothing like DS9 Sloan. I would say he looks probably like your stereotypical admiral, so a little bit balding, grayish hair, maybe a little bit too portly for his uniform. But yeah, he looks nothing like the DS9 Sloan.
Curiouser and curiouser. Oh, that is both informative and worrying. But it does give me a new avenue to explore.
I'm glad we could be of assistance, son.
Well, hopefully I can actually do so. Hopefully I'll be able to do something with this. We did not spend 4 years fighting a war so that this could come back. Yeah, and he'll sort of like stop for a minute and then sort of compose himself and say, "My apologies."
It is all right. We can tell that this is important to you and perhaps important to the greater Federation.
hopefully, hopefully you'll actually be able to be openly proud of me at the end of it, rather than having to just secretly send me well wishes from the other side of a jail cell.
Hey, look, I mean, I guess since you're Betazoid, you can sense they're a little bit concerned, but not to the point where it would show on their faces. And your mother's the first to say that was, I believe, an attempt at humor. Yes.
Observant as ever. But enough of serious matters. Let me tell you about this new. Let me tell you about this new addition to our crew we picked up in the Sabine Expanse. So, and she'll. I lost my. Where was I going with that sentence? And then he'll go into just describing Zenixia and the Sloan and the Ringworld.
Okay. Cool.
You're introducing your girlfriend to your parents.
I mean, personally, I would have thought it funny if Zenixia did just kind of show up at Pinek's, or not Pinek, at Murthrin's doorstep and is like, "Hey, how you doing?"
I did consider sort of inviting her along, but well, we've got time in Sector 001. It can still happen.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, with you doing that, Locke, I think you indeed have the bridge.
All right.
So we'll cut to you in the big chair.
He kind of sits there for a second, looking at the big chair for a bit. Almost away, like circles around the big chair, then finally kind of sits down gingerly, sits there happily a little bit, checks the little armchair consoles, spins, and then just kind of notices like that slight squeak you get in chairs sometimes when he goes to the right. So looking around, kind of sits there, taps his legs a bit, moves, squeak, moves, squeak. He stands up, walks over to the back, and grabs an engineering console and goes back to the chair, gets down there and starts fiddling around with the chair a bit. Turns it a couple times, squeak, squeak, zzz, little device. Turns, no more squeak.
Actually,
smiles,
let's make
dusts
a roll
his hands
of it.
up.
Let's make a
Sits
roll.
back down, leans back, and like the recline is gone, and just like goes completely horizontal and upends him.
Nice.
Oh, Captain's gonna notice that.
Well, as I said, let's make a roll of this. So you've already done the complication I was going to give you, but let's do another roll. If you could do a control engineering, difficulty 2, and if you have jury rigging or anything like it, that would apply here.
Probably not. Well, it's gadgeteering, but
I mean, if
Are we
you
still-
literally want to put a phaser bomb under his chair, oh god.
that is perfect. There we go. It's squeak is gone. That's a success. Complication. If you lean back, you get upended in your ass.
Let's say that this new complication is going to be that when you go to test the chair again, it literally falls off its little swivel. Yeah. And Sona just kind of turns around and says, "Lieutenant, do you need assistance with that?"
Nope. I'm good. Just, it needed a little adjusting. As he kind of straightens it, and it just kind of falls right back over.
She just
Locke
watches she just keeps watching like this is entertaining for her. She may be an android, but she knows humor when she sees it.
Remind me to introduce you to, was it the Ancient Earth Classic, Mr. Bean, after this, Lieutenant Sona? As he kind of gets there and tries to wiggle it back on, and it's not staying. He glances at a phaser briefly, looks back at the chair, back at the phaser, and just goes back to the engineering kit and tries to get the chair back on.
All right, do another control engineering. This time, difficulty 3. You also do have 2 momentum, which I might recommend you do. We've discovered who'd messed with the Klingon's chair when we did that one-shot thing. It was clearly Jester that did it.
Probably not back. I'm going to buy momentum. Buy a dice with momentum.
Okay.
So I can get through 2 extra.
There you go. You fix the chair however you see fit.
Right. get in there and wiggle it around a little bit, get the little engineering device in, and the little spanner and sonic screwdriver or whatever it is, and sonic it back on, and get in there, test the recline a little bit, sit back down, turn it to the right, squeak, feel all happy, turn to the left, and there's a horrible grinding sound.
And Sona just says, well, that was new.
Just as soon as Locke is still sitting in the chair, the captain's going to come out of his ready room and head to the turbo lift.
All right.
I'm off to the science labs, Lieutenant Locke. You have the bridge. Don't get too comfortable in that chair.
I don't think that's possible, sir. As he sits there and something digs into his back slightly.
Don't I know it? It's the most uncomfortable chair on the ship, yet I'm required to sit in it. And I'll head into the turbo lift and head on down.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Cue the music they use when the ending of a Star Trek Enterprise episode is humorous.
Mm-hmm.
Not Star Trek Enterprise, original series.
I gotcha. All right. Let's at this point actually cut to engineering, where you are, Murthrin, you are bringing on at least one new engineering person. I don't know, Drake, if you've got one ready. I can give you a sheet for a supporting character.
I don't. I'm actually still writing them.
Okay. Well, I'll still give you access to a sheet. They should be under SP2 in supporting characters.
Gotcha.
So that just means, for the meantime, Murthrin, you are being introduced to a new ensign. And Pinek, if you would give us a little bit of a primer about this new ensign.
Not much, just that he's fresh out of the academy. Very baby faced, regardless of the picture there. I haven't just thrown together a good one. And he's just overjoyed about being on the Prometheus class, and he just wants to impress everybody. Not much to say about his background. I haven't really come up with one yet. I just threw them together.
That's okay.
He's a greenhorn ensign, eager to please. So Mercer will sort of nod and say, Ensign Vlotus, I assume?
Oh, yes. Hi, Commander. Yes, very, very nice to meet you. I'm reporting for duty.
Yes. Welcome to the most temperamental ship in the entire fleet.
I undoubtedly, sir. I'm sure every chief engineer thinks that about their ship.
Not every chief engineer has 3 separate warp cores to deal with at once. Yeah, let me give you the tour. And Mesmer will sort of just...
I appreciate that. And then I kind of noticed the Nixia and my eyes kind of go a little bit wide.
Ah, yes. This here is Specialist Zenixia. We picked her up during our first expedition into the Sabine Expanse.
Zenexia sort of waves and says, hello, Ensign.
Yeah. Fair warning, she is mildly telepathic, so she will very quickly pick up on any task you need to perform.
Okay. I see.
Zenixia, are you okay to finish off the diagnostic while I give our new crew member here the tour?
That shouldn't be a problem. I'll do that right away.
Right. And Mercer will sort of lead Vlotus away as Zenixia goes. Yeah, she's actually technically a queen subbreed of a hive species we met out in the Sabine Expanse on a rim world of all things.
An actual rim world?
Yeah, I know. Not full planetary scale size, but very impressive nonetheless.
I would love to see any specifications you managed to take.
It's all there in the reports, and fortunately, it's pretty much all unclassified too. The Sloan are one of a few insectoid species we met in the Sabine Expanse, a lot of which are interested in alliances with the Federation. Anyway, though, these are the main warp conduits here. So you'll notice the odd design of the chambering there. That's to account for the fact that they might potentially be required to shunt warp plasma from any of the other reactors in an emergency, and so on and so forth. And the tour continues.
All right. So, just for my sake of argument, do you show him every single engineering room or just the main one?
Probably at least zip pie with everyone. Basically, he's just going to go, okay, here are all the main components of the ship. Here's how it all fits together. Here are the problem areas that you need to be aware of when you go out doing your maintenance runs.
All right. So yeah, we'll say that the tour concludes and you're back in main engineering. And as at this point, Zenixia kind of flags you over, the two of you, as you enter, and she says, Sir, I don't think this is anything major, but it is out of the ordinary, so I thought I'd report it.
Hello?
Well,
Hello?
you see here, and she
Yep.
taps a few buttons, and above the table forms a holographic sort of display of the EPS conduits. And she says, I have noticed a decrease in about 0.001 efficiency of EPS conduits across the ship.
Across the entire ship.
Indeed.
Okay, that is definitely odd. And Smithron will sort of like do a quick scan to see if there's like any specific place powers being drained.
Sure. Go ahead and roll me a Insight Engineering. And Ensign Vladis, you can certainly assist on this. And the difficulty here will be a 2.
Alrighty.
What am I doing?
Insight Engineering.
Hang on, I actually have a talent that applies here.
If you have,
Yes,
I know my ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bonus D20 when attempting to determine the source of a technical problem.
I thought it was a difficulty less.
I'm getting ready to roll into the next sheet.
That's a different one. Let's see, I've got... where's the one? Yeah, there is... Intense Scrutiny is the one that ignores resistance on extended tasks.
Right.
What's the task we're doing here?
Insight Engineering.
Yeah, and then I know my
meant
ship is... It's
overall.
specifically when trying to determine the source of a technical problem in the ship, you get a bonus D20.
I have diagnostics as a focus, EPS, emergency repairs, warp core mechanics, and sensor calibration.
Yeah, that would all apply. And yeah, you're right. I looked it up. It is a bonus D20.
Yeah, and same here with ship power systems. Insight Science...
Insight Engineering.
Oh, Insight Engineering. Insight Engineering. 3D20. Focus.
Wow, very nice.
No one drains power on my ship. Thank you very much.
So I believe that takes you up to 5 momentum. And yeah, working together, you guys notice that the reason the power draw is across the ship is because the holographic emitters have all activated at once. They're not really displaying anything, but they are active.
Can I attempt to check the logs to see what they should be displaying or what they're saying that they're actually just?
Yeah, I think what you're saying. Yeah, so you pull up the holographic emitters master control, and you see that they aren't set to display anything. They just have turned on.
That's odd.
Yeah, Meltron doesn't say anything, but secretly he's got a sinking feeling.
Was this command given by someone, or is this just a malfunction? Is there a way for me to determine that?
I would say you could roll me another Insight Engineering to determine that, but it would be at a difficulty of 4.
Yeah.
I'd like to spend 2 momentum then.
Okay. So 3. So do you want 2 additional die? Because that's 3 momentum.
Oh, okay, yeah. Give me 2 additional die.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So I roll 4d20 now, right?
Correct.
And Murthrin will assist.
Wow.
Nice.
Murthrin doesn't even need to assist, but let's see what you get momentum-wise.
2.
Nice. So you get 2 momentum. Yeah, looking together, Vladis, you're going to spot this first. You notice that there is a rogue command in the main computer core. And in tracing it, you realize that the access code used is belonging to one Admiral Sloan. And Murthrin, you will see this probably about a few seconds after Vladis sees it.
Yeah, and Murthrin will sort of, probably visibly pale, and then sort of go to his comm badge. Computer shut down all holographic emitters. A security override Murthrin Alpha Vector 667.
And the computer chimes a few times and says, unable to comply.
Oh, no. Murthrin Skull emergency situation where something's gotten into the holographic emitters.
Define something, please.
Does the name Sloan mean anything to you?
Yeah, it was the I remember him being the admiral who ordered the whatever ship it was away from the planet that Harlock was rescuing.
Yes, well, according to the computer, he's just activated every holographic emitter on the ship.
The hell? Shut it down.
I can't. I don't have override clearance.
Then you have my authorization to shut down the main computer.
Put in your access code. Maybe it'll work.
Access skull. Yep. Access code. Skull Beta Alpha 31309.
The computer chimes. It's a bit more positive chime this time and says, code accepted. Please input one other senior staff command code.
Yep, Murthrin will provide that.
So, Murthrin, yours gets rejected again.
Captain, it's not accepting my codes.
Scott a lock.
Luck here.
I need your access code immediately to shut down the main computer. We're under cyber attack.
From the bridge, I'm like, computer shut down, main computer, access code, lock, 3 Omega C365.
All right. And yeah, just in time, it accepts your command code. And sure enough, Murthrin and Vladis and Zenixia all notice in main engineering that the entire main computer shuts down. It is a cold, hard cut off of power. And across the ship, everything from replicators to sensors to quite literally most things on the ship just die instantly.
What about the emergency backup systems?
I mean, a few essential systems like the computers that run life support have their own backups. Very basic thruster control is available, but you're definitely not going anywhere fast.
I would like to double check those backup systems because right now, those are the most vulnerable systems.
Okay, go ahead and roll me another Insight Engineering. It will be a difficulty 3.
I'm not going to spend a momentum. Can I give you threat instead?
I mean, you have the 4 momentum.
Yeah, but I have a feeling we might need it later
Okay,
for whatever's
sure.
coming.
How much threat do you want to give me?
I just want an extra die.
Okay, so just the 1 threat then. Okay, so Murthrin, if you want to assist him, you need to roll 1 more success for me.
Alright, Inside Engineering. You get it.
Nice, so you get a
Nice.
momentum from that. So what you notice is that the backups are thankfully clean. However, and Locke's going to have to confirm this when he gets down to engineering, you're noticing what is essentially a virus that is trapped within the main computer core. And if you were to turn it back on, it would spread like wildfire.
Okay, there is no way this is a coincidence.
Would it be possible to flush the virus, like completely restore from a default setting?
Potentially. We're going to have to, I think going to have to physically isolate the computer core to do it, though.
Yeah.
Zenixia, get me an engineering team. We're heading down to the computer level.
On it, sir. And it is about that time that, Locke, you walk into main engineering. You have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. What's
And
why did-
Murthrin will
why
sort of say, Locke, perfect timing, come with me.
yes, sir.
I'll flip my Hydra spanner into the air and catch it, and then say, "Greetings, Lieutenant." And
Why
follow
did I
along
just
behind you
crawl
guys.
through 3 jet tubes and a turbolift shaft after shutting down the main computer?
And
The hell
as
of
they
it?
walk, Murthrin will sort of go alongside Locke and say, you know those times when the universe just gives you a clear sign?
Sure.
Okay, so would it surprise you if I told you, you know the Nakal that we've been trying to find information on?
Nazcall.
That's
Yes.
The Nazca.
Nazcall.
I vaguely
What is
remember,
this?
yes.
Well, while I had my time off, I took advantage of the time to dip into the Vulcan Science Academy records and found and what do I find out? But a certain Admiral Sloan was behind the bringing the Nezkov into the Federation.
That's
And less than 6 hours later, I come back to the ship and the ship comes under cybernetic attack from that very same admiral.
that is very surprising.
But surprising? Well, in hindsight, at the time, yes. In hindsight, no. Which is why I need you to come with me. I need to find out what got put into my ship and how it got here.
Cyber attack is in virus?
As in, something activated all the holographic emitters on the ship at once.
To do what?
We don't know. We shut it down before it had a chance.
Gentlemen, lieutenants, please, sorry.
Ensign,
What?
yes, sorry.
What if that was the intended purpose?
To shut the ship down.
Well,
Well,
you
what
can't
would
you
that
only do so
gain?
much with holo emitters.
Oh, well, what would that gain? Security systems are offline. Ship sensors are completely down.
Which
Bertrand to captain.
which one works?
Skull. Skull here, go ahead.
Get the security details online. Get them to do a full sweep of the ship looking for anyone. I think someone might be taking advantage of this shutdown to sneak on board.
Very well. Captain Skull, this is Captain Skull to all security personnel. Prepare for potential boarding situation. And this is not a drill.
Let's go. Let's get that virus out of the computer so we can get the sensors back online.
Is it all? We have 3 computer cores, though, don't we? One for each of the main ships. Was it every single one that's compromised, or just the main one?
Let's say, for sake of argument, the command you gave shut down all 3 as a precaution.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about the virus itself.
Yeah, and now we're basically
I
just
would-
going to the physical part of the core that the virus is stored on, so we can physically isolate it and deal with it.
I would assume it was all 3 because they're interlinked.
Yeah, so you're gonna need to go. Let's say, for sake of argument, so you don't have to split the party too much. Let's just say you go to the main, the biggest one, and you arrive here, and you're able to start interfacing with the main computer core.
Because it occurs to me, if we isolate one of the 3, reboot the other 2, we can turn on the third one with the virus still there and find out what it was doing in a way that we can shut down and still maintain.
Potentially. Let's see if we can isolate it on Gamma Section.
All right.
Oh, no, wait, no, Gamma Section's the main one. Alpha Section's the bridge, so Beta Section. Let's see if we can isolate it on Beta Section.
Okay, so you are now in Beta control room, and you are staring at. I mean, we don't often see the main computer in Star Trek, but from what I remember, it's essentially a sort of glowing blue column of light that you can sort of just take chunks out of, and it works like that. But yeah, it's split up into sections, and obviously it's offline, but even though it is offline, you notice that about 4 or 5 sections are glowing bright red, and as you watch, you notice that they they don't multiply, but another part of the computer core turns bright red.
Oh, not today. And Mertherin's just going to start going to town, like, essentially cracking these things up open from the side and just using all the tricks in the engineering handbook to root access these things and just out-hack the hacker.
Okay, so this is going to be a difficulty 5 extended task.
Fortunately, I'm good at those.
Yeah, so the base difficulty is a 5. The work track is going to be a 16. The magnitude is going to be a 4, and there's going to be 2 resistance on this. So you have 4 people with you. Up to 2 can assist you. So somebody in this equation is being left out. That said, I know, Locke, you have computer hacking as a focus. Vladis, I think you have a focus that applies as well. And Zenixia can just mooch off of whoever else, but it's entirely up to you who is assisting you, Murthrin.
Right. So what things does Vladis have?
He has diagnostic, EPS, emergency repairs, warp core mechanics, sensor calibration, and in talents I have in the nick of time and meticulous.
All right. So probably him, Locke, and Merthrin all lead.
Okay.
Yeah, back of the bus, bug.
All right. So this is going to be a daring engineering for whoever wants to take the lead here.
Probably Merthin, your chief engineer.
Yeah, I've got really low daring though. So
I've got 8 daring.
Hello?
Yeah, it's Locke has crap for daring as well. He is not.
Could I convince you to make it control?
Had this not been a live situation, I would say yes, but you are running on a clock here.
Well, control. If you look at the
daring it is. So daring engineering.
Yeah, I'd give you control if this was like you were doing something like I don't know.
If we weren't dealing with an actively nasty virus that is currently taking over the entire ship.
Right. So if it helps to think of it like a morphogenic virus, or what are those things actually called in real life? Not a worm.
Trojan?
No, not a Trojan. There's a specific kind of virus that I can't remember the name of that keeps mutating in the wild. That's gonna bother me. I'll look it up. But yeah, figure out who's rolling as I look that up, because that will bother the hell out of me.
I think Merthrin's taking the lead, but question from me. I have the computer expertise talent, which whenever you attempt a task that involves programming or study of a computer system, you may add a bonus D20 to your pool.
I would say that would apply, but not if you're assisting.
Yeah, so I'm assisting Merthrin. Would that be could that be given to Merthrin?
Now, extended tasks, do they have difficulties?
They do. So you're starting at a difficulty 5, and every time you achieve a breakthrough, so anytime you roll more than 5 on the work track, or if you complete the work track, you get a breakthrough, and the difficulty goes down. But it starts at 5.
Couple things. First, when am I rolling to assist?
You're going to be rolling daring and security.
Okay, he rolled insight instead of daring.
That was the last roll. I haven't actually rolled yet.
Oh, okay.
Also, because it bothered me, polymorphic virus. That's what it's called.
Right.
Anyway, sorry.
I've got in the nick of time. So whenever you succeed in engineering or science task as part of an extended task, you score 1 additional work for every effect roll.
Nice.
I would say if you're doing the roll, that would apply, but you can't apply that to Merthrin's roll if he's the lead.
Okay.
I've got intense scrutiny, but that only works for reason or control extended tasks.
All right, good, because my meticulous also makes extended tasks a little harder, so that's good.
Yeah, although I do have I know my ship, so I get a bonus D20 right out the gate.
Right. And you do have 4 momentum to spend. And I believe you still have your determination.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't used it yet.
So we'll take that 1, even though Vladis is only supposed to be rolling 1. We'll just take that 1. No big deal.
So daring plus engineering. And difficulty 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go for the 3, and you know what? Oh, I was going to say, but yeah, I'll spend 3 momentum to take that all the way up to 5 dice.
Okay.
Because Merthrin is not like most engineers, gets really annoyed when someone starts messing with their ship.
All right, so
Just as
that
well I did.
is 5, 6, so you get a momentum back.
Mhm.
And yeah, you are able to begin literally pulling these glowing red chunks out of the computer core without causing a cascading failure. But let's see how well you do. So if you can roll me 7 challenge dice, please, Merthrin.
Yeah, so I think it starts off sort of just going tap to tap, type to type, and eventually he's going, so, no, we need to do this faster. And then he just probably gives Vlotus and Locke a minor heart attack when he just suddenly pulls a cover, reaches a hand in, and just wrenches some connections loose.
Okay. All right. You can spend 1 momentum to reroll those zeros if you wish.
I will do that.
And you said that you ignore resistance, I believe?
That's only if I'm doing a reason or control extended task.
Okay, so then the 2 resistance still applies here. All right, so you're going to do 4 work. I will say that you can spend the 1 momentum you have remaining to make it 5.
I will do that.
All right, so you make it you make a breakthrough. You're making progress, but the computer is still beginning to more or less glow red. So I need you to roll all that again, and this time the difficulty is a 4.
Yeah, and no momentum this time.
Yeah, no momentum, unfortunately.
Do we want to spend threat, guys?
It's your ship.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be spending threat.
Okay.
All right. Insight engineering again. No, not insight. Daring engineering. 3d20. Yep, let's spend 3 threat to make that 5 again.
Okay.
I am upset about this, both in and out of character.
And I'm going to spend the threat you just gave me to make the complication range 17 to 20.
Which I think comes in.
You rolled a 19, so that's 1 complication. But you do have the 4 successes you need, so let's see what everybody else rolls.
I think Pinek is AFK.
Okay. Well, if someone wants to roll for Vlotus then, if Pinek is dying in the background.
Sure. I
We'll
suspect
take that
one of those
5.
is...
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
only 1d20 when you assist. So we'll take the 5.
Right. Sorry.
So that is 2 momentum. You could spend that 2 momentum to get rid of the complication.
That sounds good.
Okay. All right, you're rolling again. 7 challenge die.
Can't re-roll any this time.
Well, you can give me a threat to re-roll, but that is more threat for me.
No, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Anger is making him reckless.
Okay, so with 2 resistance, you only do 3 work. Let me see if I can get a token on here so it's a little bit more visual for you guys.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Oh.
Have we blown up?
Not yet, but
as of yet.
Well, put it this way: if the virus doesn't wreck the computer, Merthrin just might.
It's a good thing we're already in Vulcan orbit.
It's everything we do, it's just, the virus just isn't stopping. It's spreading.
I'll just have that 1 breakthrough. 4. All right, so you're going to get 1 more roll here before we're going to do the security team's work.
Alrighty.
So all of you do that again, and let's see what happens.
I think it'll just be a straight roll this time.
Synixia, dab the sweat off his forehead. Quick.
I mean, she certainly will.
Daring engineering, 3 dice.
My roll's been so bad today.
You did fairly well as Vlotus up until now.
Yeah.
Not a promising start.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible for you to succeed on this, but I still need to see Locke's roll in case it's a complication. Okay. So, unfortunately, at this point, I'd say about 75% of the core in front of you is red. And it is at this point that we are going to cut to the bridge. Because on the bridge, as I do a quick little bit of token management, Captain, you're in your chair, and quite literally in front of you materializes something that you've seen before. You remember that torpedo casing that ended up in your ready room that one time?
Yep.
It's not exactly the same torpedo, but general idea is the same.
This isn't good. Clear the bridge!
All right.
I am going to run and dive behind one of the consoles.
Just because I find it funny, Sona will very calmly stand up and say, Captain, this torpedo would kill everyone within several decks. I do not believe that console would solve anything.
It makes me feel better, okay?
Very well. Should I attempt to disarm this, sir?
I stand up, straighten my tunic, and go, make it so.
Okay. So Drake, since you've kind of written yourself out of this adventure, why don't you do Sona's rules for this? So Sona is actually, because this is Sona's introduction as a supporting character again, you can mess with her values and her. I think she's. Yeah, you can give her another talent, or you can give her another value.
It's at this point I wish I had Drake because he could defuse the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue what to give her for values or talents.
Well,
I like to guys.
If you don't mind me pulling up the rule book and giving suggestions.
Sure.
All right, so let's crack open beta here and see what we got in here, because not beta. Operations. Where is operations? There it is.
That's a good one, Jester. That's awesome.
There are no strings on me. Very nice. Let's see. Engineering school, page 45. All right, so you need what do you have? You have a 3. Okay.
I think you need 5 for Miracle Worker. Otherwise, I'd go for that.
Right. There is procedural compliance, which actually works quite well because it requires engineering 3 and con 2. And that means you can spend 2 momentum to create an advantage. And this advantage, meaning you can roll a 1d20 during the next engineering task. That might help you. What else might help you here? Maintenance specialist could probably work, but it would be a little bit of a stretch. Also could be meticulous. Meticulous could be of use here, but it will be a little bit more time if you do that. Let's see. Exploit engineering flaw does not help you. Yeah, so that's all I can see in ops that might help you.
Well, I'd say for her overall character, the one you were talking about, spending 2 momentum would be the best. It doesn't help us in this situation because we don't have 2 momentum.
I mean, you can still give me threat, but I'm probably going to turn around and throw it right back at you. And let me just copy paste it into Discord so you can see what it is. And it is procedural compliance. All right, that's procedural compliance.
Yeah, actually, that's going to be the best for her.
Okay.
I think Chief Tin can come down to assist.
Yeah, Tin will very easily come down and help out.
I'm so terrified right now.
You should be. You should be.
This would be so much easier with somebody else. All right. Okay. So then, what would the role be? And I guess I'll give you threat.
Okay, so whichever one of you wants to or wants to be the main lead is either going to roll me a control or not a control. Well, yeah, I guess control would work here because this is, well, for all intents and purposes, this is a standard photon torpedo. Actually, no. You know what? Let's spend some threat. It's a quantum. So this
good.
is a standard quantum torpedo, meaning that as long as you know how to disarm one, you can do it. There is just a timer that's ticking down as you do it. So that would be a control and engineering or a control and security. And
Tin has 14.
Yes, Tim would be like,
yeah.
you should probably let me.
Yeah. Allow me, Lieutenant. I can do this.
Okay. So let me type out the requirements
there
as
we
I
go.
make them up on the spot. Let's make this a difficulty 3, work track 0 out of 12, magnitude of 3, and resistance of 1, and you have, let's say, 5 intervals to complete. All right, so because, we don't often do extended tasks, by 5 intervals, that means 5 attempts at the rolls. And obviously, if you don't complete them, it goes off. But you can spend momentum or threat. I believe it's 1 to half the interval. So if you spend the momentum or threat, you make it basically half an interval. So you could do 2 at the same time, kind of a thing.
Okay.
But yeah.
Let's see how the first roll goes.
All right. So I do need to see a crit from Sona here.
All right, working on it. Applicable focus, no chance. Unless we're considering diffusing a quantum torpedo as mixology.
No, but she has logic.
Yeah, I guess that'll work. Nope.
No, so you spend the first little bit of time this is a quantum torpedo. You get the casing off and you look inside and you just kind of look and go, oh, this is a bit more complicated than I thought. But yeah, that's 1 interval. So what would you like to do next?
I picked the wrong day to quit sniffing glue.
I guess try it again.
Okay.
Guess so.
Now, before you roll, I do need to know if you're cutting the interval in half.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Could the captain assist at all with inspirational words?
I don't know, Captain. Do you have inspirational words?
No pressure. You guys can do this.
I don't
think
want
he
to blow up.
Yeah. I like living as much as everyone else. I believe the captain also has the ability to force a reroll with his executive action.
I know you can give your determination to people you're in contact with.
Oh yeah, that's right. Give the determination. That's how we did it last time.
Oh, but you know what? Let's be fair. Tin is also getting an upgrade because it's been a while since for Tin. So Tin, you can give him a +1 attribute, a +1 discipline, a value, a focus, or a talent.
Focus spontaneous dismantling of live torpedoes.
I would say warhead deconstruction or weapons. Let's say let's just put torpedoes in general down.
Yeah.
Torpedo management.
Torpedo management. There you go.
How about starship weapons?
Starship weapons. Sure,
Or is
that's fine.
Okay.
All right. Now, I don't think that would have helped your roll because you rolled a 17.
No. It would not have.
But it does give you moving forward. It does give you that focus.
Yeah, I'm guessing Drake is still making his way back from Earth.
Yep.
All right, control plus engineering. Focus, yes. Ooh, that's a good roll.
That's the 3 you need, but let's see if Sona gets you any additional momentum.
Working on it. Oh,
Yep, you get a momentum. So, Tin,
Excellent.
you're going to roll me 5 challenge dice, please.
All right. Well, that's all right.
Now, it is a resistance of 1, so you can either spend momentum to re-roll that 0, or you can spend it to just do +1 work and complete... Well, not complete, but you would get a breakthrough.
I'm all for getting the breakthrough.
Okay, so you end up with 5 out of 12 work, 1 breakthrough out of 3, and 1.5 out of 5 intervals. All right. I probably should have put those nice little cards I did for Arcadia, but I forgot to do them. That's my bad. So yeah, still disarming this thing. I mean, you're starting to pull wires, you're starting to pull things out of it, but quantum torpedoes are pretty complex. You have to be careful.
And that was half of the second interval, so we can still do the second, right?
If you spend a momentum, you can do another 0.5, but otherwise you would go to 2.5 intervals.
Okay, that's how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're going to 2.5 then, unless Sona has any other ideas?
not really.
All right. Let's see. If we readjust the internal stability matrices like so, isolate the quantum core, and possibly kick it once or twice.
All right, that's the 2 you need. Let's see if Sona gets you momentum. All right, you get a momentum. And yeah, another 5 challenge dice if you could.
Okay.
All right, so right now you're only doing 3 work on the track. So in order to score another breakthrough, you either need to give me 2 threat, or you need to spend the momentum you just got to re-roll those 2 zeros.
I like the idea of re-rolling. What do you think, Sona?
Sure thing.
Cool. That's all right.
All right, so you now are doing 4 work. If you give me a point of threat, you will indeed score another breakthrough.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, so you are now at 10 out of 12 work.
Okay.
2 breakthroughs out of
Can
3.
I spend my value for 2 successes on the last one?
You
Is
can.
that how that works?
It is only a difficulty 1 now.
Oh, I'm doing this totally for flavor. So yeah, I'm going to spend it for 2 successes.
Okay.
And then I roll again. Engineer.
All right, so
Nice.
that's 2
Didn't even
momentum.
have to.
Does Sona get you any more? Sona gets you another 2. Very nice. So yeah, another 6 challenge die, please, or 5 challenge die, please. All right. So that would only be doing 2 work at the moment, which does give you a breakthrough that you need, and it is the very last breakthrough that is required for this extended task. So,
All right.
Sona and Tin working together, you are able to pretty much in the nick of time pull out the main guts, the main explosive, the main part of the warhead, and the torpedo deactivates.
Captain, here is the quantum instability matrix. It was rather difficult to get out, but we did it. Go team. Thank you for your help, Sona.
Glad to help.
Skull to Mirthrin.
Kenny, you actually... Oh, of course you can get through with other comms.
Yeah.
Little busy here, Captain.
Well, we just saved Alpha Section from a quantum torpedo that
Oh,
beamed
what?
onto the bridge. The second you can you send one of your engineers who is proficient with Starfleet weapons up to the bridge, please?
I'd like to point out, Captain, that this time it was not me.
I'm pretty sure that you are not a suspect this time, Locke.
Captain, you're going to have to requisition some yourself. I have a virus that has already taken over 3/4, make that 4/5 of beta section computer. Need to get this thing contained.
Understood. Take care of it, Chief. I'll figure things out up here.
Lotus looks at Locke and says he's only pretty sure.
He beamed a torpedo casing into the captain's ready room once. Oh, we'll talk about it later.
All right. So as a reminder, you're sitting at 7 out of 16 work, and you've got 1 breakthrough out of 4, meaning it is a difficulty 0 or difficulty 4 daring engineering.
Ooh. Oh, well, we're up to 4 momentum, so let's see if we can't get another breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Can you use your determination at all? Do you have any?
I've got an engineering tricorder, and that says it reduces the difficulty of all attempts to locate energy sources, diagnose problems with technical devices by 1.
I would say that would help here, yeah. So that would make the difficulty a 3.
Alrighty. Okay, let's spend 3 momentum to get the 5 dice again.
All right. So Vladis gets you a success. Locke gets you another 2. All
A bit messy,
So
but-
let's see. That is 3, 4, 5, 7. So you get 4 momentum. So you're at 5 momentum total at the moment, but if you want to spend 2 to get rid of that complication, you can.
Yeah, let's spend 2 to get rid of that complication, so down to 3.
Yep, down to 3. And then, yeah, go ahead and roll me 7 challenge dice, please.
Oh,
All right.
nice.
So it is resistance 2, so you're only doing 3 at the moment. So would you like to re-roll the 4, or re-roll the 2 zeros, or spend 2 momentum for sure thing?
Yeah, let's spend 2 momentum for a sure thing.
Okay. So that'll bring you down to 1 momentum, I believe. Yeah. All right. So that is now going to be a grand total of, I can math today, 12 out of 16 work, 2 breakthroughs out of 4. And yeah, you're starting to get a hold of things. You're starting to catch up with how fast the virus is spreading. And you think with a little bit more work, you can finally isolate and stop this thing from spreading any further.
Yeah, so Admiral sort of reach under. Zenixia, reboot the 3rd bypass. I think it's getting in through there.
On it, sir. And yeah, give me another roll and let's see what happens.
All right,
Everyone?
3 difficulty this time.
It is a 2 difficulty because Vladis has an engineering tricorder.
All right, so I think we can.
By the way, that's standard issue for every engineer. No opportunity costs. Yeah.
It only took us
not got it
41
written down on my
episodes to
sheet.
figure that out.
Also, hyperspanners are also standard issue. No opportunity costs.
What about self-stealing stem bolts?
Well, those you got to talk to Nog about.
And the Federation doesn't actually use them, as O'Brien told us.
Yeah, they're a Cardassian thing. Well, low difficulty, so I may as well spend that 1 momentum to get 4 dice.
Okay.
Ooh, just as well.
Yep. So Locke, we'll take the 1 from Vladis. So don't worry about Vladis's complication. And then Locke, let's see how well you're doing. All right. So that is a grand total of 4 successes. It was a difficulty 2, so you do get 2 momentum. Do you want to spend it to get rid of that complication?
Yes, I do. I do not want to find out what nasty surprises this virus has before we've got it contained.
By the end of this, we're gonna with Hal on our ship. That's basically it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so go ahead and roll me another 7 challenge dice, please.
Right. Section 31, you are not messing with my ship.
All right.
Okay, maybe you are messing with my ship.
So you don't have any momentum at the moment, but you could give me threat to reroll.
I think I'll take that threat.
All right.
4 challenge dice. Another 2.
So that would give a total of 4 work done, which would be a single breakthrough. But if you give me another threat, that will be enough for a second breakthrough and enough to complete the task.
Shall we do it, guys?
Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we want to get this thing fixed.
Are we there with like the work though? Because it's only 4, right?
Yeah,
Well,
that'd
if
be
you're at 12 out of 16 at the moment, so 4 gets you 16 out of 16, which completes the work track and is a breakthrough. And if you spend a momentum or a threat to make that 5 work, because that's 5 work done, it's another breakthrough. So that is the 2 you need.
it's fully completed. So yeah.
Okay. So
All right, let's do it.
yeah. So yeah, you bypass the infected sectors, and just before it begins jumping to the other computer cores, you finally get containment on this thing. Everything is physically isolated at this point.
Right. And for the first time in a few minutes, Bertrand just sort of sits back and relaxes briefly. Okay.
That
Right.
was horrible.
Now let's start finding out what this thing actually is. And I'll sort of pull out a diagnostic tool and start going through the computer core.
I'll start rebooting the other systems that are unaffected.
And do a sensor scan, look for anything that shouldn't be there.
Will do. Level 9 diagnostic.
All right. So, Locke, since you're kind of our scanning guy, if you want to roll me a reason science, and difficulty here is 3, and this will be the scan before the main computer, or at least part of the computer, is back online. So this is before the computer's online, but after the computer's online, you can have the ship assist you.
All right, so I guess I'll buy 1 extra die with threat.
Okay. So I'm going to make the complication range here 18 to 20.
Actually, didn't. All right, other.
Hey, look at that.
Nice.
So yeah, you get a momentum off that. Yeah, Locke, I have good news. There are no random quantum torpedoes where there shouldn't be.
Everything seems to be coming back up. Normally, I don't see any problems. I don't see any other quantum torpedoes other than the Ridge. Might have just been a lovely assassination attempt on the captain. Did the can we tell if the quantum torpedo came from our supply or came from elsewhere?
As far as I know, you guys don't have quantums.
Yeah.
We were given 5 when we left DSD a while ago.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
didn't you use them to blow up a gateway?
Oh, yeah, we might have done that.
Yeah.
I think we did. Yeah, we blew up the Tholian stuff with that thing, I think.
So
Never mind.
Where did the quantum torpedo came from? Now the computer's
we
back
don't
up,
know
right?
because the system was all shut down when it beamed on board.
Right, so because everything was shut down, there are no logs of where this thing came from.
Well, now that the computer's rebooting, can we scan the area and find check for any ships or stations it could have come from?
If I remember correctly, every torpedo casing has a serial code on it.
It does.
Do you really believe that whoever shut down our computer systems and beamed a quantum torpedo onto the bridge would be so sloppy as to leave the serial number?
It
Well,
wouldn't
no,
hurt to look.
they would have scrubbed the records, but scrubbed records leave a trail all on their own.
Ooh, I have an idea. That's still a thing for the Ophion.
Well, let me know what you guys are doing.
Skull, Skalder Mirthrin and Locke.
Go ahead, Captain.
I see systems are rebooting. Is it safe to say that the ship is once again in our control?
For now, at least. We've got the virus isolated on the beta computer. We're running diagnostics on it now, trying to find out what it actually is.
We're hoping that we can restore from backups and then run antivirus, and it should be gone, but it's still... It could be down for a while.
Very well. I'm going to order Tin to start manning the quantum sensors.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking to see... Or, sorry, chronoton sensors, I should say.
Oh, hang on. Chronoton sensors, could we somehow rewire them to scan during the space and time when the sensors were down?
I was wondering if someone would figure that out. Yes, you can. You can certainly do that.
Scan
Yeah,
backwards.
so Murthrin will sort of, he's in the middle of going, if only we could have seen what was... Wait a second. We could... No. But if...
Murthrin, can you handle this for now?
Yes.
Should I run up to the bridge?
Yes. Lock. And he'll sort of run over. Lock. The sensors.
Yes.
The chronoton sensors.
On it, Captain, Commander. No.
Yeah, you we're on the same. You know. Yes. Do it. Yeah, Murthrin is sort of semi-articulate as he rushes through ideas.
All right.
So I bolt for the turbo lift as fast as I can.
Okay.
This is an exciting first day, and then I rush after him.
Oh,
Wouldn't
Vlos
be
is
the
getting
Ophion without something going wrong. All right.
Yeah,
So...
this is like when Riker joined the Enterprise and then on his first day, Q showed up.
I mean, I'm just going to say it. If he had the beard then, it wouldn't have been as big as a problem. Anyway.
Yeah.
I just sprint onto my station. Up. No time. Tin. Full power chronoton sensors.
Yes.
So,
Rewire. Reverse polarity.
Yes, Lieutenant. Yes, Lieutenant.
all right. So how much power are you going to spend here? Because how much power you spend is how far back in time you can look.
It's been quite a few minutes. So I'm just gonna throw power into the...
Reroute. I want to go over to the engineering station with Glottis and reroute the impulse power to the chronoton sensors.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
I am giant.
Transferring power from shields as well, or I suppose you know weapons.
If I saw further, it was because I stood on Denobulan's shoulder.
How much power does a ship have?
I believe you have 15.
Oh, that's right. Power is in the abstract units we use rather than how many actual terawatts the generators create.
Even though it would still be an obscene number because 3 warp cores, that's a lot of power.
Yeah, so let's put 4 power into these scans. Just almost burn out the sensors, getting as much readings as possible.
All right, so here's what it's going to be. Because you're spending so much power into this, I'm going to make it only a difficulty 2. However...
and I've just realized the chronoton sensors aren't actually on the record because we got those from the future ship that we helped.
No, I can't remember if you got them from the Chanel or the future ship. I think you got them from the Chanel.
I believe it was...
No, we had that was the whole thing we got with...
no,
face?
you're right. It was the future ship, the Magellan, because that's when you got the prototype QSD. I remember now.
Yeah, because we needed the chronoton sensors to make the QSD work.
Mm-hmm.
No, guys. Chronoton sensors were installed with the guest player.
Oh, you're right.
Yes. I'm trying to remember his name. I'm blanking.
Because he was on the Arcadia.
Matic.
Bugging the crap out of me.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it was Matic who installed it. So
Yes.
Technically, it's probably on record.
Oh,
Whether
I
or not it's
remember what the
classified.
Chanel gave you now. The Chanel gave you a prototype cloaking, and that went to the Lysithia, and then prototype transporters for you guys.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the transporters.
Oh, yes, that's right. We got super transporters.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Locke. This was going to be a difficulty 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to spend the last of my threat to make this a difficulty 3. And the ship is going to assist you with sensor science. You're going to be rolling a reason science. And the complication range is going to be 16 to 20.
I'm gonna
Ooh.
buy a dice with our momentum.
Okay.
Hopefully
Damn,
also.
I wish I could help because I've got sensor calibration.
Alrighty. And I'll roll for the ship.
All right.
Can Vlitos assist with the sensor calibration?
I'm going to say this is just going to be you, but you don't need the help. You've
Wow.
got this. So yeah, Locke, you do have a momentum, which I'm going to say you probably want to use to spend a question, but I think you're science, so you get a free question anyway. So what you find out is that this transporter signal came from a part of dark space, or basically a space between stars, and it's at such a distance that it's reminiscent of, say, Dominion transporters because they work over tremendous different distances.
Oh.
It's really distant transport. Can I tell what type of transporter signal? My free question is it like Federation transport signal or Dominion?
With your free question, I'm going to say that this is basically if someone took the Dominion transporters and tried to reverse engineer them.
So it's what was the color of the special effects?
It was blue. So this is a Federation reverse engineered.
All right. Ugh. So it's okay. I get my plot, the kind of the trajectory. And it's like it definitely came from a dark space captain. It's whoever tried to do this was Federation. This was a Federation, not a Romulan. This wasn't a Romulan Tal Shiar rejection letter.
No, those rejection letters hurt a lot more. Is the ship capable of movement?
I wouldn't recommend it immediately, not till we can get the full computers up online for navigational sensors. But whoever did this probably immediately went to high war.
I mean, as long as beta section stays isolated from everything else, I'd say the ship's actually in perfectly functional condition and can just bolt right now. Because I forget if beta section actually has any warp coils on it.
I mean, it does because it has to function as when it's split apart.
Yeah, all three ships do.
Okay, so the virus is currently in beta section, which, okay. Lieutenant Sona, separate Alpha section, and then plot a course to the coordinates of those transporters, of the originating transporter.
Done, sir.
And engage at max warp.
All right.
Yep.
So
we'll follow in Gamma section when we can.
Yeah. So the sort of final scene is the Alpha section splits off, sort of rises up from the greater part of the Ophion. The little nacelle at the top kind of peeks out and sort of turns the ship towards where the signal was coming from, and the Alpha section of the Ophion jumps to warp. And that's where we're going to end the session. So, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure playing with you. If you guys could stick around for a little bit longer, but to anyone watching on Twitch or YouTube, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.